I'm super excited to be here with you all. I know you're in the beginning of finals, and so thank you for taking the time out to come hang out with us. I loved attending the readings, and it's an honor to be the one on stage this time around, so thank you so much. I'll be doing a series of many different works. A lot of these I've never read out loud, and so you're welcome, and I'm sorry. One of the things I was exploring in my thesis that I've continued exploring is the ways in which mental illness and shamanism kind of can cross over or are thought about in certain cultures, and this is a piece that came from those ruminations. Laying on of hands. He never went through confirmation. A wild boy, type to make you sprinkle the floor with salt before murmuring his name. The smack dab in the middle, brother. And nobody was gonna make him do shit he didn't wanna do, and he didn't wanna take Christ. Let that water sprinkled on his infant forehead be enough to usher him good. Or let it not. A laying on of hands. He wasn't no rosary-wearing boy, no Bible verse boy. He did rock gold crosses that he iced out, boy. A laying on of hands. He never said ghost. Never said his dreams had grown limbs. Never said church, heavy with incense, moaning, and women and men with twisted tongues was what he lived in daily in his church of a body. I believe now. There'd be a pulpit somewhere inside him, a pool of holy water. He floats upwards, glinted. This is why he's always smiling, a laying on of hands, his body, decorated in mosaics, stained and glassed behind glazed eyes. My brother be holy. He be fast, spinning to his heart tambourines. He sees demons sometimes, but he can't hear the weeping. Has a congregation clapping, singing, Alleluia in his sternum, Alleluia to his sternum, to the space behind his teeth, where 1,000 candles flame, and he be praise, and all bread and wine unlined with pews, kneeling to this God himself. Some days, it's like I'm waiting to feel his palms on my forehead, hear prayers laced between his questions, as if he's ever gonna ask me, what's hurting you, Liz, and heal. I'm obsessed with Cardi B, and there was a question earlier about the religious aspects in my work, and so you're going to hear this little trio of religious type things, but this shit is blasphemous, but if you don't know, Cardi B is a notorious reality TV star who has one of the top records in the country as of August, and it's still one of the top records, and I'm in love with her. Self-portrait of Eve as Cardi B. Yeah, I ate it, because fuck it, I was hungry. And apples are natural appetite suppressants. Can't be mad at a bitch for trying to keep her waist snatched, know what I mean? Oh, you still think he talked me into it? Please, I lived with Adam. I been knew about snakes in the grass. Didn't you know he was always dry snitching on me to Pops? Even blamed the apple on me like I forced him to take a bite, like a hoe don't be greedy. Why the fuck would I have shared? And I'm a charmer. I asked the snake to find the choicest apple, to rattle his tail like a dinner bell when he did, and damn, that shit was sweet. I didn't even wipe my chin. Why the fuck would an untamed thing like me ever crave a shepherd, ever crave an Eden, when all I ever needed was the wild of this here wool? Pressing. The living room is haloed Mary, wooden crosses, psalms, the glass-wrapped candles, tall, think, burn, mingle with incest, alleluia. I sit on the sofa with the neighbors' girls, adorned in flouncy Sunday dresses and piety. This day is reserved for prayer circles, and the women thumb rosary ropes through calloused fingers. The neighbors' girls bow their heads, murmur underneath their breath, blessed are you, the fruit. I close my eyes and hold a couch cushion on top of my lap, press my thumb to myself fervently, moan along. Is this prayer? When the circle comes to a close, mommy pulls me to her, catches a whiff of my hand. Jesus, did you bathe today, girl? Go wash, girl. And I know this is a hidden thing, a wash away thing, a pray it out thing. Nightly, when everyone in my house is asleep, watch me roll onto my belly. My fingers find me unbidden with bitten tongue. I train myself quiet. I have a knowing about this unstopped need. Does God watch? Stop, slow down, speed up, circle, press and pray and press and pray, press and suppress and pray. Blessed are you. For those of you who have not been following the career of Sammy Sosa, he doesn't really have much of a career these days, but he has been getting into skin bleaching. Sammy Sosa was one of the first Dominican men I ever saw on American TV. He was one of the first figures I ever saw of dark skin from the Dominican Republic being celebrated by an entire country. And when I was 10, I think was the age, I had this huge poster over my bed that my father got me the summer that he was competing with McGuire. And I mean, I never had any religious figures on my walls, but Sammy was up there. And so his skin bleaching, people have been making a lot of jokes about it, but I think there's a sadness there for those of us who only saw ourselves in him, and now he doesn't even see himself, right? One-sided conversation with Sosa. Smiling Sammy posted over my bed, Jesus, cross yourself, step to the plate, jungle gym shoulders swinging, tainted with the residue of oranges, the shoe shine polish from when you worked roadside, invisible under your nails. We all know the story of how you got here. Slugger, watching you that summer, my heart swelled a black island. We hung the flag on our fire escapes, spit whenever McGuire's name was uttered, counted home runs like leaping sheep. You, our beloved Caliban, taught us a new language, raised us higher than the outfield, and now, dark hero, dearest Sammy, your before skin supple and beautiful as the most ripe plantain peel. That whole time, we worshipped and whispered, did you finger your oak bat? Circles rippling the oil outwards. Did you wish you were thumbing your own pale cheek? The manuscript that I'm currently working on is called Medusa Reads La Negra's Palm. And the conceit is that this girl who is coming into her own about her race, in the Caribbean, there's a complicated history with race. And in the Dominican Republic, a lot of folks won't call themselves black, although they may be Afro-descendant. And so this figure of La Negra, the black woman, has summoned Medusa because she wants to learn how to be a monster, because she is considered too much of a hybrid to know how to walk through the world. And so there are all these poems that sprinkle throughout the book of Medusa and La Negra in conversation. And this poem is titled, La Negra Takes Medusa to the Hair Salon. La Negra takes Medusa to the hair salon, and the salonist from Santiago runs her fingers through the serpents. It'll be extra for La Monstra, she tells La Negra. Her snakes, they hiss and squirm too much. It takes the salonist hours to bend the snakes around the rollers, make them lie still beneath the hairnet. And later, the dryer bell dings. The snakes have grown sleepy. Easier for the salonist to drag the brush through Medusa's scalp with one hand, lulling the snake straight with the blower in the other. The last of them uncoil and hang limply down Medusa's back. Oh, doesn't she look so much better? The women in rollers croon. Una propia tigueraza. They comment on how the snake's eyes have been seared and swollen shut, how their tongues swing gently from their mouths, their fangs bent loose by the small tooth comb. And although Medusa cannot possibly understand the cadence of El Cibao, she fingers her half-dead snakes, holds one up to her mouth. Ay negra, she doesn't say. La Negra stoop sits with Medusa. Because Medusa got a fat ass, the boys on the block still try to holler, despite the warnings that they've heard. Bruh, I don't know why them soft-ass Greeks were so afraid of being rock solid. Make me hard however you want, Medusa. Medusa shakes her snakes, holds La Negra's hand in her palm. They sit not unlike museum pieces. The guys chatter, a swarm of mosquito wings. La Negra tries not to be envious. Medusa has spent centuries inspiring the chest hair of boys, but still, La Negra wishes she was awful enough to make them shriek at the sun with hunger or turn completely away. These brothers of hers, these kinsmen that make her all sorts of terrible, how she learns to make beacon of her eyelashes, to bear and brace her teeth, sharp with barbed wire. And this is the last poem from the Medusa suite. Medusa teaches La Negra how to pray. Because she doesn't know how else. La Negra opens her mouth. Medusa knows about split tongues. Do you see the sand, the dust of sugar, the coiled orange peels, the carvings, the bundled knives, the oxen? Medusa puts her ears to La Negra's lips. There, the border, the black, the blind, the bound, smell it, the blood. Medusa shakes her head no. La Negra pulls out her own teeth. Sometimes monsters need an offering. Medusa, tell me how. Do you see my limbs have grown hands, and those hands have grown hands on the palms, and those fingers, all of them are figuring out how to carry a damned island. I am a starving beastling, but no matter how much I feed, my skin grows tight and tight, a noose grown of my own leather. Tell me how to shed, or if not, how to survive. But Medusa gives the bloody teeth back. She doesn't have these words. Sometimes you are a God-touched crossbreed, but that doesn't mean you claimed. Doesn't mean your stoop will be hailed pew. Doesn't mean that don't nobody, not even your own people, give a fuck about you. What Medusa does say, Negra, you have to grow your fang back. And I'm going to close out with one last piece that I wrote while I was here. I think one of the hardest things about my writing career has been that I've felt this need to get permission for what I can write about. And I don't know how much of that pertains to not seeing a lot of my stories in literature. And so when I showed up, I had all these stories I wanted to tell, but I wasn't sure if I was allowed to tell them. And this piece is an homage to telling what felt most true, right? And not just what I thought my peers wanted to read or what they could read, but just being very sure in telling the story that I needed to tell. And I'm so glad for the generosity that I found in this department, that folks were receptive of what I brought in, even when what I brought in was like a clap back to what someone had previously said. And so this poem is called Rat Ode. Because you are not the admired nightingale, because you are not the noble doe, because you are not the picturesque ermine, armadillo, or bat. They have been written, and I don't know their song the way I know you're scuttling between walls. The scent of your collapsed corpse rotting beneath floorboards. Your frantic squeal as you pull at your own fur from glue traps, ripping flesh from skin in an attempt to survive. Because in July of '97, you birthed a legion on 109th, swarmed from behind the dumpsters, made our streets infamous for something other than crack. Shit, we nicknamed you Cat Killer, raced with you through open hydrants, squeaked like you when Siete blasted aluminum back into your brethren's skull. The sound slapped down dominoes. You reigned that summer rat, and even when they sent exterminators, half dead and on fire, you pushed on. Because even though you are an inelegant, simple, mammal bottom feeder, always freaking famished little ugly thing who feasts on what crumbs fall from the corners of our mouths, you live uncuddled, uncoddled, can't be bought at Petco and fed to fat snakes because you are not the maze rat of labs. Pale, pretty-eyed, trained, you raise yourself, sharp-fanged, clawed-scarred, patch-dark because of this. He should love you. But look at the beast, the poet tells me. The table is already full, and rat, you are not a right-worthy thing. Every time they say that, take your gutter, your dirt coat, filth this page, rat. Scrape your underbelly against streets, concrete. You better squeak and raise the whole world, rat. Let loose a plague of words, rat, and remind them that you, that I, we are worthy of every poem. Here.